I'm here with
Roy Lee.
Yeah, so for those who don't know who you are, why don't you tell them a bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I'm the founder of Cluely, the cheat on everything company. I built a tool.
Okay.
I said this a million times. I built this tool to let you cheat on technical interviews. And it got me kicked out of school. And I raised a bunch of money to build this, about like $20 million. And now I'm working on Cluely.
Okay. Out of the like $20 million you've raised, how much are you going to dedicate that to marketing?
Probably like 19 million.
19 million.
Yeah.
What was the other 1 million for?
I know, just like a rainy day.
A rainy day.
Yeah.
So I know, like you, for example, at Cluey. So you're like the Gen Z type of like king of marketing right now.
Sure.
You're all over the place talking about marketing and like distribution and how distribution is king. Do you feel like, for example, all the money you're spending on marketing, what kind of returns are you seeing right now in like the product?
I think the way I think about marketing is the same, and brands, I think it's the same way that a lot of people think about products. And I'm sure because you do content, you can agree. When you say so focused on like conversions and ROI early, you're like climbing a hill, but you have no idea how high the hill is. And you also have no idea how many hills there are in the world. There's like in the idea space of things that could go viral, there's literally infinite ideas that could go viral. And if you're not trying infinite things and you try climbing the hill at first and it's like, oh, it's hella tough. Like I can't even see the top, like it's a hella tough hill. Like you're never gonna see what the highest hill you could possibly climb is. Same for products. Like if you're not actively trying a bunch of things and it's like, if we're not profitable day one, then like, oh, fuck it. Like this is just not worth it. Like obviously not. If you just thought about, like, can we be profitable day one? Can this marketing tactic be converting day one? Then you will never get to the top of whatever mountain could be very high. And I think the proof is in the pudding where there's so many companies out there who have tried a bunch of marketing things and you might have the best converting campaign in the world, but like very few people will actually go out and talk about these companies' marketing strategies. I think we're like probably more talked about. And I think there's something to be said there where like we are trying more things. We are like trying to climb more different hills because we're not making the bet on early ROI. We're making the bet on if we climb to the top of the mountain, this will be higher than any mountain that has ever been climbed. Remarketing.
Okay. And how much do you think the product plays into that? Like you can do that with practically any product, right?
Correct.
Do you think like the efforts that you're spending on marketing is like Cluey is the product to be putting that effort into? Do you think there's anything like better or like more important you could be working on?
I think most people don't see what the grand vision of Cluely is, but I really think like this is like a truly different type of modality for AI. I mean, like right now we are limited by the constraints of the model, but I like the core bet that Cluely is making is that in the future nobody will use chatbots to talk with AI.
Right.
And that is my belief, and I think that is like, if you can figure out what people are going to use that is not a chatbot, then you will be the richest person in the world because you have like cracked the best way to use AI. And right now, like I'm just doing as many things as I can to try and figure out what exactly is that in the best way that I can. Realistically, I can't build hardware. Like I can't recruit fucking hardware engineers from China or wherever the fuck. But I can do software. I generally know software, and I can iterate in this direction. I can imagine and dream up 100 different ways that people might use AI that is not in a text box, and I can try every single one of those things. And thanks to my distribution or like my marketing or whatever, I say a bunch of provocative shit, and I can get actually like hundreds of thousands of users to like try my thing and give me feedback.
So those thousands, millions of users that are using your tool from seeing all the marketing stuff you're doing, that's not to try and like drive revenue or drive sales. That is simply for iteration is, I guess, the idea here.
Yeah, I mean, like we wrote the first line of code of Cluely maybe like 4 months ago. So like in reality, the product is very, very, very early. And like it started with InterviewCoder. And like InterviewCoder is a very simple, take a screenshot, solve a leak code question on the screen. But like the thought is this can be much bigger. Like an AI that can see your screen and hear your audio theoretically is very, very helpful. And right now it's been 4 months and we're just trying everything to see like what is the software that I can build that will actually work? Like what is the most interesting use case? And the whole point of the marketing, like I think we're still discovering like where exactly is this most useful? What does this actually look like? I think it's still in the infancy stages.
So then how much do you think to this point you've spent on marketing and how many impressions or rather users have you gotten to actually try Cluey out from that?
Yeah, so we're at about 200K users who have tried Cluely, which is significantly less than the amount of marketing, but there's like various reasons for this. And I'd say spend on marketing, maybe a little over $1 million on marketing.
Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, for what you're doing, what is that, like $5 per like person that's tried?
Yeah, something like that.
And out of all that initial feedback that you've gotten for those 200,000 users, how much has the product changed and how much has the product roadmap actually changed from all that feedback?
I think it's like completely changed. I think we've done like I would consider us having done 2 full pivots since the launch of the product, just thanks to what users have told us. For example, in the very first stage of the product, you could not prompt Cluely anything. You could only like Cluey, help me. And then Cluey would try and help you. But we very soon realized that the models are just simply not intelligent enough for you to do that. For most use cases, it would just give you junk, and people wouldn't want that. So instead, we made the default. Now you kind of have to prompt it something, give it a little bit of guidance. And as soon as we started adding the prompting thing, we saw how a bunch of people were using it in meetings, and there were like generally only a very few types of prompts that they were doing. Like, what just happened in the last few meetings, answer this one specific question. So we just figured, man, given that these prompts are so centered around a few separate things, I'm pretty sure we could just like generate these prompts as like actions. And then this got us thinking, like, maybe we could just intermittently throughout a conversation, AI jumps in at this point in the conversation. What do I suspect that you would want? And now, like that's like the most interesting use case of Cluey is like during conversation, I will say something like, I don't know, tell me about how big is the Mediterranean Sea, or I'll say like, I'm thinking of buying a home in San Francisco. It'll just surface relevant information, and that's like another full pivot. And like the next full pivot is we are seeing that usage is mainly centered around meetings, and it's not centered around the non-meeting use case. So we're gonna kill Cluey when you're not in a meeting, or like we're gonna have Cluey only be accessible in audio only, and like all these like we're probably gonna have like 4 more pivots in the future, like 4 more big product changes, but these are only available because we see the user data.
So in terms of that 1 million you spent to learn all of that, how far do you think that went compared to like other companies that, for example, go through YC, raise a seed afterwards, and like spend money on like Facebook ads and shit like that?
Yeah, I think it's like hella ass. I feel like you even. Man, like the thing that made me think, like just made me laugh out loud is like I'm like Brex very recently posted a video talking about congratulating YC Spring 25. Here's all the billboards that they posted, and they gave every single company in the YC batch that was on Brex a free billboard. And there was probably like 100 companies, and that video got like 20,000 impressions. Like no, but like every single one of those billboards is like the most bullshit copy ever, and it's like I guarantee my ROI is higher than their ROI. And secondarily, like the thing that I tell pretty much every investor, like when I go on fundraisers, like I will use your marketing, I will use your money to help market my product, because there's just marketing experiments that I want to play. I want to be able to find like the highest mountain that I can realistically climb, and I want to make as many attempts as possible, which is why we do merch, we do Clue the Fox, we do all the Twitter launch videos. Like I'm just trying as many things as possible, because you only need one thing to really work. And like transparently, like I don't actually think we've even found that one thing, the thing that like strikes the right balance between conversion and virality, and can consistently get us to a TAM of like potentially 1 billion followers. I don't actually think we found that thing, but I think we will, and we will, because we're making more experiments than everyone else. I think everyone else is like, I don't know, it's just like maybe it's a little bit more converting, but that converting will only take you so far, because the marketing attempt that you're trying to do, it's like limited, it's small, it's a small hill, it's a small mountain.
And out of all those attempts you've done, like for example, you've tried a bunch of different stuff, you feel like you still haven't found that like marketing product fit, whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you think that lies? Where do you think that is? And for example, do you believe that there's a separation between like where that marketing fit is and what the product actually does? Especially if you're going to be pivoting continually in the future. Do you think where you land on marketing and where you find that one thing that works, is that going to continue to change as the product changes as well?
I think it's very easy to have a viral format and then turn it into something converting. It is very hard to start with a marketing thing that is very converting and turn it into something viral. And as an example, I will like point to Mr. Beast with Feastables, and like who would have thought that Mr. Beast could start like a fucking, I don't know, like chocolate brand and make it work, but he makes it work. And like when he makes like the Feastables videos that are like viral, you can tell it has that Mr. Beast flavor of virality to it, makes you want to watch. Same with Jake Paul when he launches Prime, like every single video, it's or like Logan Paul and KSI when they launch Prime, every single one of their Prime videos, it's so distinctly Logan Paul. You know, I watch it because like for the same reason that I watch all of Logan Paul's other videos. But those videos are like insanely fucking converting. And I think it's very easy to, once you have this brand and like this content engine that's working, then to like make it more converting later. But I think you have to like find the thing first.
Right. And out of all the things that you found, for example, what has been working the most, and where do you think you're going to end up? Like how are you going to continue to find that like magic fit?
We're just like I think we just try more things than other people, and there could have been a world, and there still could be a world where like the billboards was the answer, and this billboard gets like 10 billion impressions across the world, and everyone in the world is just talking to the billboards. And if that was it, then like fuck it, like we'll do all the billboards in all of Times Square, and like that could be it. We'll get all the billboards in SF, like et cetera. If the billboards worked really well, then we would have quintupled down on the billboards. The launch videos worked consistently every single one of them gets 10 million views, then we would have kept doing that. But as I've learned, like the launch video, you can't just like you can only get 10 million views on a launch video once. And like if the Clue the Fox thing works, then we'll just like quintuple down on Clue the Fox, and eventually have Clue the Fox use Clue in meetings or whatever. And I think we're just trying more things.
So it seems like a lot of the philosophy that you go on, especially outside of marketing, especially in life, is always doubling down on what works. You're constantly iterating. You're constantly trying to find what works and doubling down on it. Do you think that applies to like other things other than marketing? Like, for example, the risks you've taken with like everything you've done by getting kicked out of school, for example?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every single influencer I talk to can agree. Before your first viral video, it doesn't matter. You try as many series, as many characters, like nobody remembers you. It doesn't matter until you have your first viral video, and then that's your thing. Just keep doubling down on that, and then maybe one day you have to pivot out. And every single entrepreneur that I've talked to has agreed. Like products, before you have like your first thing that actually works, nothing matters. Launch a million things, try a million things, and it doesn't matter until you have your first thing that works. I think this is like true for everything. Whether you're trying to find PMF, whether you're trying to find the first viral video, whether you're fucking trying to find a girlfriend. Like I think you go talk to 100 different girls and like determine what you like.
So this idea of like, you also tie this idea back in with like risk taking. A lot of the things you've done have burned bridges behind you. You've taken a ton of risks before. At what point, first of all, does a risk become like too much to take? I know you talk about the downsides not always being as big as people think it is, but the upsides being as big. But for example, like now that you've sort of like made it in a lot of people's eyes, what risks are you actually taking nowadays? Like I know you're spending a ton of fundraising money on marketing, but what other like big risks and bridges are you still burning to this day?
I think I obviously burn a lot of bridges with investors. Like every single podcast I'm on where I'll say like something about fundraising. For example, I'll say if you ever loop me in with an executive assistant, like I'm probably not giving you allocation because like you disrespected me, and I think that's like fuck, if you've ticked me off. Like that burns bridges with about half the investors in Silicon Valley. All the other marketing shit that I'm doing, like I've burned the bridge with fucking Gary Tan probably, and like a bunch of other billionaires who just don't like me or don't respect me, and it's I don't know. I think in life you'll just keep burning bridges until you make it, and once you make it, then a lot of these bridges can be restored. Like I guarantee you, like pretty much every bridge that I've burned could be restored. Like there's probably a future where I go back. Like I could go fucking work at Microsoft in one future if I just changed my name, quieted my persona. Like I feel like nothing is irreversible.
In terms of Gary Tan, I know I saw a tweet where he mentioned he was like blocking the keyword like Cluey or something.
Yeah.
What's your story with like? Have you met him? What's your story with YC? Is there anything going on there?
Nah, I mean, I was like the biggest YC glazer like a year ago. Like I couldn't even imagine that I'd ever get into YC because it was like, holy shit, it's a Y Combinator. And then after that, like nothing really happened. I think we applied once. And when we applied, this was like literally like a week before the whole InterviewCoder thing like just blew the fuck up on Twitter. That's when we applied, and then by the time like they gave us the interview, like we'd already raised the seed round, and it was like no reason to do IC.
Right.
So we just didn't do that. And I've never met Gary Tan actually, but we just like we're very big on tech Twitter.
Okay, so going back to all the risk, you got your first offer from Amazon using InterviewCoder on January 30th.
I got my first offer from Capital One back in October.
October.
Yeah.
And have you been posting about it since October, like on Twitter? The fact that you like cheated on these interviews.
I like made my Twitter account, or like I made my first post on Twitter back in like January. Like so it's been like 7 months since I've like actually been on Twitter, and like the first post didn't go viral at all. We just thought Twitter was dead. I didn't even realize tech Twitter was a thing when InterviewCoder was going viral. I thought LinkedIn was going to be like our main source of growth because that's where we were going most viral. And then my LinkedIn account got banned. And I didn't realize Twitter was going to be like a possible thing until someone reposted me, and it was like Aiden Bai. And then that repost did pretty well. And we just like, okay, like, oh, fuck, Twitter's working. So now I just started spamming Twitter.
So in a world where Twitter never took off, like, where are you right now?
Man. This is like February 15th. Okay, so I launched InterviewCoder paid February 1st. After I determined that it actually works, and I managed to figure out the Stripe deep link bullshit. And then like about 2 weeks after that, like InterviewCoder is making like $2-3K a month. And at this point, both Amazon and Columbia are on my ass. And this is like the only stressful time of this whole time, this whole thing. And I'm like talking to Neil. Neil Loki doesn't want to work on it anymore because he's like pretty scared. He doesn't want to get kicked out of school. But I kind of see the video. Like I think InterviewCoder is just like it's cool. So I tell Neil at one point, like, okay, like I'm gonna incorporate a separate company for InterviewCoder, and I'm probably just gonna like live in a dorm outside, like live in some apartment outside Columbia, and I'm just gonna try to see how far I can take this thing. Yeah. Realistically, I'll get kicked out of school, but it's like it's whatever. I'll take the risk.
Wow, so you were all in on it regardless of it working pretty much.
Look, there's like this diary entry I wrote him on my Twitter, like exactly February 14th, and it was like during Valentine's Day, everyone was out. And I was hella lonely at home, and I just wrote this like diary and shit, like, man, like my life is low. It might be fucked, but I think this is just so cool. I have to keep doing this.
Did you ever think of, for any point in time, if InterviewCoder didn't work out, just like using it to get a job at like some company that hasn't heard about you cheating on them, and just like living that type of life?
It's possible, yeah. I mean, like I entertained the idea of being like a sweeper for a while, but I think I don't know. Like I always knew, like since the day that I knew like company building could be a thing, like I've always been attracted to the idea of just doing my own thing.
Yeah. So it seems like before before InterviewCoder really took off, your whole trajectory was sort of like go to Columbia, get like a decent FANG job. And now that that's off the table and you've seen like Cluey and InterviewCoder really taken off, your goal now is to build is to just build companies.
Yeah.
That's a new thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to like, where does that like drive to want to do that come from other than like the bridges you've burned? Is that like some innate thing you've always wanted to do? And if not, like, do you think that's going to stick?
I think everybody has a drive to do something like risky, bold, and like world changing. Like nobody wakes up, gains consciousness, and thinks like, man, I'd love to be a cog in some capitalist like company, and I'd love to provide share. Like nobody really thinks that. Everyone wants to like make their dent in the universe. But I think most people just live their life and then realize. And the same thing happened to me. They think like, man, I'm low-key not that guy. I don't think I can do it, and they become like, I don't know, like they just end up not ever really entertaining the idea that they could. And I think for you, like you probably see the same when you talk to any engineers about like, yo, low-key just like record a TikTok, like make a TikTok or like they're like, nah, bro, I can't do like what are we I'm not an influencer, like I could not possibly do that. And it's so simple just to like pick. It's so simple just to build your first micro SaaS and like fucking ad Stripe. You literally do it on Lovable in like 3 seconds. And like most people will not do it just because they're like, oh, I don't want to launch because people are gonna think I'm cringe, and like they're not willing to take that first tiny jump. But then once you've tasted that one thing, like your first internet dollar, it really just makes you unemployable for the sole reason that it makes you realize like, oh shit, I low-key can do this. And I think for me like that's where I'm at right now. Like I've realized like, oh fuck, like it's low-key pretty easy.
Do you think everyone has the potential to do that? Do you think it's like, for example, your big start came from the fact that you got like kicked out of school and the fact that you did something as provocative as burning the bridges to like FANG?
Yeah.
That's a really big deal for a lot of people. Do you think like without that type of like big extraordinary like bridge burning, is it still like realistic to expect other people to like do stuff like that, or like to do stuff as provocative like without wanting to burn those bridges?
I feel like I've always erred on the side of being much more risk tolerant than other people, but still I feel like it's so easy to go to Lovable and fucking code up some micro SaaS and then record yourself making a TikTok talking about your micro SaaS. Like I feel like that is so easy, and in many universes that is all you need.
Do you like see a lot of those going like when you scroll your feeds, you see a lot of like just fucking engineers that are like, yo, check out this cool thing I coded? Like, do those things make it on the algorithm?
I feel like nobody posts. Like the more I make content and the more I look for other content creators, the more I realize like nobody actually makes good viral content, to the point that I would literally say I've never in my life seen a content creator make videos that deserve to go viral and make at least 3 of them, and they do not go viral. Like I've never seen this in my life ever. And you might think it's survivorship bias, but like I go through like a lot of micro tiny accounts. Like I look at them, and you can always tell when you are very small and when your videos are not going viral. You can look at them and say like this is just not a viral video. Right. And when you look at someone who's consistently making viral videos, and you just know like, okay, they're gonna blow up.
So I think we both agree that there's definitely like a skill when it comes to virality. I think most things are skills. When it comes to virality, a lot of the times, like you said, on Twitter and especially Instagram, it's all about how provocative you can be, how much you can like be pushing the envelope. For example, if you're an engineer that's just in school, you don't want to burn any bridges with your school or with like prospect companies. How do they stand out in a way that's provocative but not bridge burning at the same time in that case? Like, let's say they just built some like SaaS on Lovable. What video would you make if you were in their situation with like the skill of knowing how to go viral?
Dude, honestly, I feel like I see so few LinkedIn demos, and I'm taking my experience at Columbia, and I know a lot of the CS majors at Columbia, and I can tell you right now that there is, on average, the amount of LinkedIn demos that Columbia students are posting about their projects is maybe like 0.1 a day. There's maybe 1 demo that a student decides to post on their LinkedIn every week or 2. Because like people are just so scared of posting their work. Well, they either don't build anything, first of all, which is like I'm pretty sure that's like a bigger problem, or when they do build something, like they cannot post it online. And I've seen the shittiest LinkedIn demos go viral, just because like you're the only person in the entire school doing it. And I just think like you don't like, if you just build something that works, which 99% of CS majors don't ever do, and you just like record a video, like the shittiest 240 pixel video of you using it, you will do pretty well.
Where do you think that fear comes from for most people?
I just think the only reason you become an engineer is because you are like the, well, I don't know, like I don't want to be overly prescriptive, but like generally like every engineer has like the same background. Like they do Kumon, they do like math and STEM, and they think like, oh, I'm like the smart guy, I'm good at math, I'm just gonna stay holed up in my room and study. And like usually their personalities are fall under the category, like you can just tell like, you're an engineer. And these guys are like the nerdy type. They're not super duper social. And when you have a guy like that, then they're just like making content, it feels so foreign to them because they haven't taken the first social leap of I don't know, like say sneaking out of your house when you're 15 in college, 15 in high school. They haven't taken that social leap. So then the social leap of putting their face in front of the camera and like that feels so foreign to them because they haven't taken the risk of taking the first social risk and realize like, oh, this risk is not that bad.
Right.
And I would say this extrapolates that for every single entrepreneur, they haven't taken the content risk of putting their face behind a camera and realizing, oh, this is not that bad. And for every single content creator, they have not yet taken the risk of like building something in public and realizing like, oh, this is not that bad. It's kind of easy. Like every single person who makes it, they'll look back and think like low key, it was pretty simple. Like I wasn't really competing with that many people. There weren't that many competitors. And I think you would probably say the same. Like even when you started like your first video that went viral, was like, oh, that was it. And you just kept doubling down. And like you got better. You're definitely probably like 5 sigma above the mean at making your type of video right now. But like when you first started in the first video that went viral, like, bro, low-key, like I didn't even put that much work into it. I can't believe this is the thing that works.
Right.
And just most people just will not take that first step. And I think it's very simple to take the first step.
So the solution is risk in your mind.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I really think the first risk is not that risky to anybody. Like, man, to phrase this a different way, the risks that I took of getting kicked out of school is not a risk I would have taken when I started InterviewCoder. I don't think you need to come in with the idea of I'm going to be ballsy enough to get kicked out of school. I just think you need to come in the idea of like I'm going to post something on my LinkedIn and show something to some of my followers. Because that was the first risk for me too. Like I made the demo of InterviewCoder and I just posted that online.
But did that change in your mind because you saw InterviewCoder starting to gain steam and it started to work? Or
of course.
Okay. And if it didn't work and you still got kicked out of school for it, was the risk worth it in that like sense?
I think because I remember writing about it in my diary and I mean it's like a public tweet. It's on my Twitter history and it's just like I'm essentially saying like even if like this doesn't go anywhere or even close to as big as I think it's going to be, like I cannot not do this because at this point it's worked and I've tasted what it could be. And I think like most people don't get the taste of what it could be. But like to put in reference, me, who I think is one of the more risk tolerant people in the world, the first thing I did, I made this shitty AI tool to like turn your lecture videos into notes. Sure. And Neil and I spent 8 hours debating with each other, should we post this on our LinkedIn? Because it might be cringe. It's low-key not that good. And we spent 8 hours debating this before we made that post. I feel like that's the only risk you need to take.
Okay. I remember you saying in a previous podcast that you've never regretted a risk that you've taken. I remember also that you got your offer rescinded from Harvard, and that was because you snuck out or something, right? Like
I had a suspension that eventually got reported to them.
Okay. And you spent a year at home after that because your parents wanted to keep it a bit quiet. Did you, in that entire year, were you like kicking yourself for what you did to get your offer rescinded?
Yeah. I mean, like, man, like that was like a mentally torturous year. But looking back, I'm so glad that happened.
Okay. Would you have still been glad, for example, if you didn't get into Columbia? The Harvard rescission thing is like as far as it got, and like you were not where you are right now, but let's say, for example, just like still sort of like trying to make things work like you were for that year off. I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you feel like the survivorship bias of like, because everything worked out in the end, therefore the risks I took were like worth it because it led me to this spot? Whereas like you said, a lot of people, they'll take those risks, but they'll never taste what it feels like to actually make it. Do you think there is survivorship bias there?
One of the happiest moments of my life is when I decided to like get up out of my bed and leave Georgia and decide I'm going to go to community college in California. I might be blacklisted from every school. I might not be able to go to like another 4-year university, but whatever. I'm just going to go to community college and try to meet some people my age. And the happiest day of my life is when I walked into community college, like the first day. Like half my class is like literally homeless people. And because this is like in Oakland. Like I went to Oakland because that's where rent was cheapest, and it was like the ghetto. Like half my class is homeless crackheads. I just remember feeling like, oh fuck, thank God I'm around people. I think generally emotions normalize. And like the only thing that is like the cure, like I would have taken enough actions to get back to a place where I was not like fucking suicidal. And if you take enough actions, then even if they work out or they don't, I think just like it will make you feel better. And like most people would look at that like, man, you are at community college surrounded by homeless people and like you're kind of fucked. You don't even know if you're going to college. And they would think like that's a shitty position to be in. But for me at the time, it was like literally one of the happiest moments of my life. Like, thank God I'm back in society.
Were you in that dark place before that moment? Like, were you in that like suicidal place type of thing?
Like when I was at home, man, I wouldn't call it suicide. Like I'm a big disbeliever in like the whole mental illness, like bullshit therapy kind of thing. Like I feel like action cures everything, and I just didn't take enough action, and I was feeling like stagnant, and I wasn't enjoying my life. But like I think suicide was just a stretch because I like to be exaggerative, hyperbolic with my speech.
Okay, got it. So yeah, so you don't believe in like mental health or like therapy? Or,
Not
like,
for me, no. I think I tried to go to therapy once, and the whole time I was just thinking like, man, this person is retarded.
Okay. Do you think that's the truth for like everyone else as well?
I think usually I feel like I don't know, man. When I look at most Americans and I see that 70% of them are overweight, my immediate thought is, man, these guys need therapy. Like my immediate thought is like, man, if you got your health and hormones in check, you probably wouldn't feel depressed. And when I think about most Americans who get way less than 10,000 steps a day, they never see the light of day. Their sleep schedules are fucked and they work like corporate jobs. Like my immediate thought is never ever, man, have you tried therapy? My immediate thought is always, have you tried like not being a lazy fucking fix in your life, like taking some actions? And I feel like if you did, then you would realize like, oh, whoa, that's kind of dope. Like I don't actually need therapy. I'm not actually depressed. I'm just fat. My hormones are imbalanced.
Okay. When you were like by yourself for that year after like Harvard, were you like, for example, like going ham, like working out, doing everything, or was there a period where you sort of like were in a slump?
Yeah. I mean, like for the first 6 months, I thought it was like I was gonna be like Goku in the time chamber, and it'd be like my year off, and I'd go back and like maybe I'd get into another college or whatever, and I just tell everyone, oh, I decided to take a year off to find myself, and I come back ripped and jacked and like hella good at programming and like all these great things. But and that was the case for like maybe like 3 to 4 months. I was like grinding hella hard, and then all of a sudden I hit this wall, and like for about 8 months I was just like in my room like staring at the ceiling in like a state of like I would describe like conscious coma.
Right.
Like I didn't even know that the time was slipping by. I would just close my eyes and wake up, and it'd be like fucking February to March. And I cannot even describe like that was probably like the shortest feeling of my life. Like it was probably like 8 month period, but it felt like a blink of an eye.
Wow. And what'd you do to get out of that?
Me? Like at the time I'd already applied to like 26 different colleges, and I ended up getting accepted into none of them. That's why I thought like, damn, I might be blacklisted. And I go 0 for 26, and that's when I realized like, oh fuck, I need to do something very drastically different. So I took a very big action, which is like, fuck it, let me just move to California by myself and try and figure something out here.
So I guess then your advice to other people that are in that slump, or other people like you said that are overweight and just need to like quote lose fucking weight and stuff like that, it would be to just take like a drastic action.
Yeah, I think usually like society styles people into like not wanting to take things that will inevitably be good for them. And I think as the most extreme example, and I know someone's gonna take this out of context, but I think if you are truly obese and you've been trying to go to the gym, you've been trying to live healthy for the past like 40 years and you just can't, I genuinely think you should probably try taking steroids, or you should probably try and like taking like Ozempic or like something drastic that will because if the things in your life have not consistently been working and you've been depressed for a long period of time and you feel like you're taking as much action as you emotionally or like mentally can, and it's just not working, then like you need to do something crazy, bro. Like you need to do something that you've never done before. And for an obese person, that might be literally taking steroids. For an engineer who's like, I don't know, like senior staff at Google and they're just not happy, it might be quitting your job and starting a startup. But I feel like you just need to be willing to take the action, because the risk of not taking action is living the life that you currently live. And for most people, from what I've seen, like they're not happy.
Okay. I know that like a big component of like behavior, I think it's like behavioral cognitive therapy or whatever, is the whole idea that like changing the outside is like very, I guess, like temporary compared to like, I don't know, fixing like the root issues. So you don't believe in, like, for example, if Chloe were to like crash and burn right now, I know you mentioned like when InterviewCoder went like super viral, you felt like you had a short amount of time to really make it before things would fade out for you type of thing. And you were like super stressed. Do you think if like that did happen, like you would go back to that same slump, or you would end up in that same place?
I think right now, like I've mentally realized, oh wow, it's so easy to make money online that even if like say there was like a meteor that just hit and like every single other Cluely employee died and I ran out of all the money and every investor hated me, like I still would have very high confidence that I can just go out and make more money online. I think I've learned that it's much simpler to do that than it is to work a job and like grind your ass off to make 200K a year.
Okay, so do you think then like money is the solution then?
I don't think I just think action is the solution. Like if you're in a place where you just are depressed and you're like your life is shit, you need to take some drastic action to change something. Or like in any, if you want some sort of outcome, you need to work towards that outcome. If the outcome is not what you're living right now, then you need to take an action. Take an action.
And if you were taking all this action right now, none of this was working out. No one knew what Cluey was. InterviewCoder never took off. You were still blacklisted. You got kicked out of school.
Yeah.
Do you think you would still have the same like positive like mental effects from everything you've done? Would you be in the same mental position right now as if like none of those risks paid off?
It's hard to imagine, but I think like for a product like InterviewCoder, there's only two scenarios. Either it really, really works and it's so viral that you do end up getting kicked out of school and like holy shit, and if it goes that viral, then something good is going to come out of it. Like your surface area of luck is just so high. Some engineer is gonna see that and think, man, this kid's funny as fuck. I'm gonna try and backdoor him into my company, or like either something like that happens, or it just does not go that viral, and the school low-key lays off your ass, and you're not actually blacklisted to the degree that you think you are because it didn't go that viral. It wasn't that big of a splash.
Okay.
And I think yeah, like looking back, I can tell you with confidence, the downside of that risk was no downside at all. Even if I did get kicked out of school, like the worst case would have been like I got suspended. Even after all this, I only got suspended for a year, and I would have been suspended for a year. I would have spent a year dicking around, and then I would have just came back to school and graduated a year early. Like truly, that was like the worst case. And I would have looked back on that and thought like, man, that was some funny ass shit I did with InterviewCoder. At the very least, like a hella funny story to tell my kids.
Right. Okay. Now onto Cluey. Cluey's sort of like a Trojan horse for like what you are actually trying to accomplish, right? The whole cheat on everything thing is like a Trojan horse to get people to, I think you mentioned, like on board onto AI as fast as possible. Like you want everyone using AI. You said if you can use AI for something, you should.
Yes.
Do you like still stand by that? You still believe like if there's anything you use AI for, they should?
If you can use AI in such a way that it helps, then I cannot think of one single example where you should not do that.
Okay.
And whether you're like a doctor and you're like mid-surgery and you're like, oh fuck, what was the name of this one artery that I need? Like you should use AI, bro. Like do not reach for the textbook.
Right. In the case of like, for example, students like cheating on tests, or for example, like software engineers relying on AI, do you think that there's a risk of like using it on a daily basis or using it in so many parts of your days that things start to like atrophy or things start to like not work the way they did when you were just using your brain to do those things?
I think you can make the same argument about so many things. For example, and I bring up this analogy a lot, but if you went back to like, I don't know, like the medieval times and you told a blacksmith, here's a machine that can automate your entire job, and there will be a portion of blacksmiths that be like, oh great, like I can just do my work and be insanely more productive. There will be a portion of blacksmiths that think, man, if I do this, I'm gonna lose the motor skills and that are necessary to like actually blacksmith something correctly, like the fine-tuned control and whatever the fuck. And like it is true, you will lose all of those things, but in return, you will gain like much more productivity, and you'll also gain the ability to like have time to learn how to do new things that could be infinitely more productive than being a blacksmith. Like for example, maybe you could learn how to be a software engineer in that time. And these blacksmiths, they couldn't even fucking fathom. Like they could not dream up the concept of someone sitting in front of a metallic keyboard and like clicking away at computers. But like in all honesty, like a software engineer right now does more work and is more levered for society, the betterment of society, than any blacksmith was in the past.
Right. But I guess the idea of like AI is, for example, if it's augmenting like programmers right now, which it is. Like, for example, MIT did a study that showed like they tracked like 54 people or something. I don't know like the exact details of the study, but pretty much it showed like the people that use AI on a daily basis like showed signs of like brain atrophy or whatever. Like they had memory issues. They had like less ability to like think critically about things. Do you think there's any risk of like that being widespread across people, especially like if you're ushering in this age of like use Cluey for like school, use Cluey like when you're interacting with another human being, for example?
I think it will just change the way that we operate. And I actually think the solution to this is like more technology. For example, if the AI brain chip came along and truly just try to entertain the idea that technology grows super, super fast and we in the next 10, 20 years have this AI brain chip. And now all of a sudden it's like your brain is you're on mental steroids and your IQ points, you just jump up 200 points in IQ. Like I bet you would not be complaining about the like 20% drop off in like mental performance, like focus issues of people in the past if we actually had the technology. And I think that is like that is the future. Like it's where we're inevitably headed. And we just need to get to that technology faster than like all our brains atrophy. And like this has been the case. I think it's like consistently been true that we can like humans' ability to innovate with technology is like faster than our ability to use up resources. For example, like back when we were like using wood for firewood, like people were like, oh my god, we're gonna run out of trees, and like no, we'll just switch to oil, and oh my god, we're gonna run out of coal and oil, and like no, we'll just switch to nuclear, and like that is always true. Like we're always able to adapt, and like right. Technology always innovates faster.
How often do you use like, for example, LLMs to like to brainstorm or like to bounce thoughts off of?
Man, like maybe I want to say like once every 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm almost never not having some AI window open. Like call me one-shotted, but I think it just helps. It helps me think more creatively, and I think a much more palatable like thought experiment. I'm gonna say this for the clip, but imagine you're 7 years old, or you have a kid, and she's 7 years old, and she just finished reading like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and she wants to go write her own Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And imagine you told her you cannot use any AI. How many pages do you think she's gonna get, and how many illustrations do you think she's gonna get before realizing like, oh fuck, it's too hard. Like I'm only 7, I can't do this. Like maybe half. How much learning and creative exploration will she get to experiment? Like almost none. Now imagine you gave her all of AI and told her like come up with as many stories as possible, and like this AI will help you. Like she'd probably come up with literally thousands of different variations of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, pick one that she really liked, and then come up with thousands of iterations of a chapter 2, pick one that she really liked, and it might come up with a story that makes no fucking sense. It's not funny. It's like some cringe 7-year-old, but the creative exploration that 7-year-old would be able to do is like much more. And I think anybody would look at that and think like, I'd much rather have my 7-year-old use AI and creatively experiment than have her not use AI. And I think this extrapolates. Like the humans of tomorrow are going to look back at us and think we're all like 7-year-old, like mentally, like we're retarded. We just need to be using AI to explore as many things as possible.
I think there's a big difference between like using AI in like an augmented way, where a 7-year-old might use it to brainstorm more creative ideas and put together something themselves, versus how most people use AI today, which is just using it to think for them and like do the actual task. Like I could definitely see a 7-year-old just asking the LLM to like create the story themselves for them, right?
Yes.
Like where do you think the line should get drawn there? Like I agree that like augmented AI is like extremely good for bouncing ideas off of brainstorming, getting more creative, but I don't think like most humans can like help themselves. It's like having a calculator in their pocket, except the answers to like everything in life. Where do you think that line gets drawn, and how do you feel about like ushering in the age of that? You know what I mean? Like your company is ushering in the age of like using AI not to augment your thinking, but to think for them, right?
Yeah, I think like Cursor is a very good example of this. I think imagine you're like you probably don't even need to imagine. You're a Google engineer and you have access to Cursor and you're like trying to work on the code base, and you realize like every PR you make is like not passing any of the tests, and you realize like, oh fuck, Cursor is not smart enough now to understand the context of the code base. What will you do? Will you just like quit your job and just like no, you have work to do. Like you have output requirements. You're probably gonna go back and like manually understand the context of each file, and like even if that means like you go back and now I have a much better prompt to ask Cursor, and you'll still rely on Cursor. Like you will go back and you will like, if there's an output requirement and you're focused on getting the output done, and AI only gets you 99% of the way there, like it doesn't change the fact that you still need to get the output. Like you'll go back and backfill exactly what information is needed for you to get the job done. And I think if it is the case that in today's world, our output requirements are write a 5-paragraph essay or fill out this multiple choice test or like, I don't know, like make this really useless PR. Like the output requirements are obviously not high enough. Like AI can do that. But I think humans will just like increase the tolerance or increase the limit of what output would be required in the future. Like the tests are not going to be solve this 5-question multiple choice test on like geography. Like in the future, it will be like like develop like a novel, like 10-story novel, or like just like the output requirements are just going to be way bigger because AI has increased our productivity.
Do you think AI affects all humans the same way in what it does to their thinking skills? For example, like for someone like you that might have already like had this like this innate like curiosity to go and like figure things out, like how the X algorithm works, how virality happens, how to make what you've done into like a giant company and bring it full circle into what you're trying to achieve in your life. Do you think that there are people that, for example, might not have that same innate curiosity or that ability in the first place, and when they use AI, it's not in that augmented way, which gets them to 99%, for example, and then they still can do the 1%, but in a way that just like lowers the floor for everyone else while raising the ceiling for a few?
I think it's possible. I mean, I really don't think I've ever met anyone in my life whose dream is to just sit and like brain rot 16 hours a day. I think generally, like even like the cognitively lowest performing people that I've ever met, they'll say like, oh, today I'm gonna walk out and get a coffee. Like I feel like today's a coffee kind of day, and they'll go on a walk and get a coffee, and like that is like they choose that over brain rotting. Like everybody has something they choose to want to do over brain rotting. Every single person in the world has a hobby that is not just like sitting in front of it.
Okay.
Sitting in front of YouTube, and I think yeah, like when you can just snap your fingers and like get more things done, then people will be more excited to like try the things that they're innately curious by.
Okay, if you take the example of like brain rotting, for example, like for someone like you, it keeps you like your finger on the pulse of what's going viral,
Yes.
what marketing looks like. But for a lot of other people, they are, like you said, literally brain rotting 16 hours a day, where when Instagram, TikTok wasn't a thing, that wasn't a reality for them. So in sort of a sense, it's like raised the ceiling for people like yourself that know how to use it as something being productive. Whereas for a lot of other people that might not have like that same like sense or opportunity to do so, it sort of lowers the flow and it sort of like pushes them further down than they already were.
Man, this is like low key why I think like something like Cluely is so important that makes AI so mainstream. Because I feel like if every single one of these people were told, hey, you can use AI to at the snap of your fingers make one of your interests just happen, or make one of your hobbies like 10 times more interesting. Like I'm almost certain, and in fact, I bet my life that every single one of them will just choose to do their hobby or the thing that they're more naturally curious about. Nah, fuck that. Like it turns out I'm not that interested. I'm just gonna keep brain rotting. Like the only risk here is that AI doesn't spread enough, and like instead AI is only promoted in like the most harmful ways, which are like the addictive social media algorithms, and it's not promoted in like you can use this for a bunch of different things. And if that is the case, then yes, like society might be fucked. But again, like technology always solves the problems that technology creates.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's a really interesting take. So you believe like firmly you're on like the right side of history then, with like all the like advancing AI as like fast as possible and like getting into the hands of the consumers as fast as possible.
I feel like if you're not on that path and you think like we need to stop AI, like I think like it's really hard, I would say almost impossible to fight the natural desires of humanity. Like in fact, I would say this is impossible. Like if people want something, then they will get it, almost no matter what. You can like ban alcohol as much as you want and people will still drink. You can ban drugs as much as you want, people will still get drugs. And like the solution to anything is never prohibition, but just like maybe like guardrails around the thing. I think like AI safety is very important, but also like what would the alternative to ushering AI in be? I think the alternative would be to like try to encourage most people, hey, don't use AI, and then instead there's just like people who use it maliciously, or like the social media algorithms, or like the people at the very top of like Mark Zuckerberg deciding, you know what, I'm going to use AI. I'm going to use AI in like the way that makes me the most amount of money. It's just like, yeah, I think technology should be democratized.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, those are really interesting viewpoints. I think the idea of like AI safety, for example, is really important. Like, how do you guys go about like worrying about AI safety, or is that still farther down the line?
Yeah, I mean, we use like the model providers, and like largely like there's a bunch of AI safety researchers, and we kind of just trust them. But also, I think yeah, I mean, we are not really in the business of safety. Like, if there's something that Cluely can, like that Cluely should not be able to do, then I think it's like the work of the AI safety researchers. Like, we don't have an AI safety team right now. We're like a very early stage startup, and we're just working on getting our thing out there, rather than like all the safety guardrails. Like there are people that do that for us.
Got it. Cool. Last question I have for you: what is like one thing you think not enough people think about or know that you like wish you were asked to like say it to people? Pretty much, like, what do you think people should know that you think not enough people know?
Man, I feel like most people need to be more comfortable with the idea of like someone disliking them. I think like probably most of our core instincts and desires can be traced back to humans like 50,000 years ago. And back then you lived in a tribe and there were 100 people, and you had like some incentive to have everybody sort of like you. And now we're in this world where there's literally 8 billion people who could potentially see you, who probably like if you go viral enough will see you, and some of them are just not gonna like you. And the more controversial you are, I think I am like probably one of the most controversial people. But even then, like my life, like I'm like I live a relatively normal life. There's nobody that goes up and fucking like throws eggs at me in the middle of the street. Like the hate is never that real. And if you can just overcome the fact that if I do something very big and bold, some people will dislike me, but they're like, I think the sooner you get comfortable with that, the sooner you're going to be able to like try things and do things, and one of them will eventually work out. And even if you try 100 things and the first 99 don't work, and you have every single person on the internet clowning you, literally saying, "Man, this guy's so stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like the things are obviously not working. He's just burning money. His company's gonna go down." Like I'm speaking from me. Like, when that one thing works, you only need one thing, and then everybody's like, "Okay, wait, he was low-key right about everything." And I think like the sooner you're comfortable with like having 99 failures and being super public and just falling flat on your face every single time, the sooner your life will improve. And I think right now I'm living the most interesting life that my life right now is more interesting than it's ever been in the past. And I'm very glad that I've been able to be very comfortable with the idea of people hating me.
Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Cool. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for those who don't know, who am I here with and what do you do?
First, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming to SF. My name is Abdulla. Right now, I'm in charge of the InterviewCoder. Yeah, previously built like a bunch of consumer apps, and then currently I am, running the InterviewCoder.
Okay. And InterviewCoder, it started off as a tool that was made to cheat on LeetCode.
Yeah,
How is that going?
like it's going pretty well, and then as you can see, like Meta changed how they interview, Google Europe changed how they interview, and then I heard friends like friends from like in Cloudflare, they're talking about like change their interview, all kind of stuff. So I think we are making some changes.
Okay. So I know when Roy first started the
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
So for those who don't have background on InterviewCoder, it started off with Roy, who created the tool, got kicked out of Columbia, got a job at Amazon using the tool. His whole idea, I guess, when it first started was that this was meant to be replaced, or it was meant to go obsolete.
You're right. You're right.
How are you going to adapt the company with Meta, OpenAI, Google, all of these guys onboarding AI into their interviews?
Like basically, like we have a bunch of ideas, but the first thing is we will destroy LeetCode. Like there will be no more LeetCode for CS students for forever.
Wow. And then after that, how do you go about empowering all these people to like, is the idea to empower all these people after LeetCode is dead to make different apps and to try different projects out and start getting real world experience in some way?
First, what I can say is like right now we're just focusing on the LeetCode, right? But like technically speaking, like our technology, like our app, like can be useful for any kind of interview that requires memorizing.
Okay.
So actually, like pretty big. This like like pretty big industry. Like yeah, and
Like
then-
outside of programming.
Yeah, outside the programming, and then like let's say like before the interview, like after the interview, so many things can be done here.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a bit strange because it's like it sort of feels like Cluey was sort of like forked off of like InterviewCoder of what was done. The user interface, they're both very similar. Cluey's going in one direction as a company, and now you are the CEO of InterviewCoder, which Roy sort of left behind. How does that happen? How did that come to be?
How to say, Roy built the product. Roy and Neil built product InterviewCoder, and then if you look at the like I'm looking back right now, like intercom, like live messages and emails, what other people asking us, hey, can I use this for exams? Hey, like law exams, like all kind of exams, and then some of them are like, hey, can I use this for my sales call?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to memorize so many things like about products, and then I just want something on the screen that helps me like give some suggestions, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So they saw this thing can be done much more than interview, and then they started Cluely.
Right. Okay. And then, so does that mean like your product is just going to be reserved for interviews?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. But in the future, I mean, you can't really compete with Cluey.
You're right, yeah.
So you're sort of like siloed into the interview process.
Yeah, you can say that, yeah.
And if, for example, even outside of tech, if other interview processes or other industries catch on to the fact that people are cheating on these interview processes, and let's say they get rid of memorization altogether, what is like the future of the company, or like where do you go from there?
I think that's I think for us that's the most successful outcome of the company.
And then you just spin it down.
Yeah, we destroyed the whole, let's say, interview system. Think like AI is coming. Like
Right.
it's like to be honest, like so many smart people in SF, like in person I can see them. They are trying to replace another like job, all kind of stuff. And then in this kind of situation, like it really doesn't make sense to like another person to recite or memorize what AI can do the best.
So let me get this straight.
Okay.
The entire point of your company now
Yeah.
is to destroy another industry and then cease to exist.
You can say that, yeah.
Wow. So it's sort of like almost like a kamakazi style company.
You can say that, yeah. Like just like they like Tinder said, like we are supposed to like doesn't exist that kind of way.
So then, so what's in it for you? Do you just hate Is this just like a cool opportunity to like hone your skills as CEO, or do you just hate LeetCode that much that you want to?
So at that time, what I did is I just memorized let's say I did so many LeetCodes, and then also Roy he solved 600 more lead code questions. So the thing is, we are not the ones we came through that process, and then we know that this is just a filter for big companies.
Right.
Because let's say if you let me assess an engineer, I think I just need to ask what did they build.
So do you believe then that you, for example, you believe all that time that you spent practicing leak code to help you land those jobs was a waste?
What I think is lead code is I think it only tests one thing. It only tests one person's whether that person can sit down one place, let's say 2 or 3 months, or can grind for one direction, can do one thing.
So how did the conversation or how did the decision for Roy to choose you, for example, as CEO come from?
Yeah, okay, right now I'm a CEO of InterviewCoder, but I was CEO before then. 2023 April, I came to the United States, and then all I want is build a company. I worked at big companies before. I worked at Tencent, Alibaba, and ByteDance. I know what big companies are doing. I know how it feels like be a software engineer there. And another very interesting thing is I also run a hacker house.
Right now?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Just in North Beach, just
you're running that while you're living here and working here.
How to say running is what we do is we just provide some couches, all kind of things to the people visiting the SF, the founders.
Right.
Because I just stand up being nice, helping each other.
Okay.
And then Roy slept on our couch, and then
really, how long ago was this?
It's 6 months ago, crazy.
Okay, so it's right when things started picking up for him.
Roy had nothing, all kind of things. So, and then we know each other. After that, we know well of what each other's doing.
When I went to, for example, the InterviewCoder's Twitter page, I didn't really see much. Is there a plan to revive that? What are you doing as CEO to try and achieve your goal of eradicating leak code forever?
Look. Everything is happening. Everything happens so fast. We didn't do nearly nothing.
Right.
All intercodes blew up. All the kind of things happened merely because of Roy's Twitter and Roy's how did he takes all the risks to kicked out of Colombia and got Amazon offer and then say nearly fuck you to them, all kind of stuff.
And is it just you right now, or do you have a team? What does it look like?
It's very interesting. Right now it's only me.
Just you. You're doing the coding.
Yeah.
The marketing.
Yeah.
You're working how many hours a day?
Man, what I can say is today I slept at 6 a.m.
You went to bed at 6 a.m. And what time did you wake up?
12:30. Go with that.
So when you hire for someone for InterviewCoder, obviously you're not going to give them a leak code screen. What are you going to look for? What in your opinion is the thing that should be replacing leak code? How are you going to assess an engineer on the interview?
Let's say engineer, it's so easy. GitHub,
to assess an engineer.
Yeah, assessing GitHub, and also say a project. You can see very clearly what's the technical difficulty of that project.
If, for example, they've been working at Google for the last 3 years and they don't have a public GitHub, how do you assess their skill when all their
content? I don't think if he doesn't have public GitHub or do anything, I don't think he's a good engineer at all.
Even if they've been working at Google,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So you believe even if somebody's currently working at an enterprise company, if they're not doing something in their spare time on GitHub, they're cooked.
If that person what I can say is okay, let's very extreme case that person is extremely busy. I don't think this might happen. Okay, I really don't think this happens. But what I can say is that most good engineers they just build stuff. They just cannot stop. I have so many friends working in Google, Meta, all kind of big companies. They still do something.
What about the people that Meta, for example, is trying to poach from OpenAI? They're paying hundreds of millions of dollars for these people. They don't have an open source GitHub. I know they're researchers and not exactly engineers, but is it fair to judge engineers just based on their open source?
No, let's say what I mean open source, let's say I can definitely sure that I just heard the post those researchers they are on the podcast. They are talking about what they're doing, and then they have so many research papers.
Right.
And then see how tweets, what they are doing, like so many things going on them. So I don't think what a like very great engineer like he okay, let's assume that engineer doesn't have anything like GitHub, all kind of stuff. And then when you ask that person, what did you do in that company? They can like, if that guy does like really does the thing, he can definitely talk about how like he solved those problem and like technical difficulty.
So last question, what's something you wish someone asked you so that you could tell people that you think people don't understand or you wish the average person knew?
Founders never fail. Startup might fail, but founders never and ever fail. This is from Naval, but like I extremely believe that like this code.
Well, I look forward to watching how you destroy LeetCode in the next 12 to 18 months. So we'll be watching, dude.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Time.